In other words, it is the kind of mathematics you do in the workplace. So this is not business maths that you were doing when you were writing anciently, but it's the kind of practical mathematics you are expected to know. Nobody will teach you, but you are just expected to know it. And so this is the course outline, just so that you see the main topics we are going to be covering in the following days, in the days ahead. So first, by the end of the course, this is what you are supposed to be able to do. You should be able to apply numerical, financial, and data skills to real workplace scenarios. You should be able to interpret payroll. So payroll is big grammar that we use to refer to when they are paying people salary. So payment of salaries and wages is generally referred to as payroll. Budgets, graphs, spreadsheets. You should be able to use your knowledge of arithmetic to manage these kind of situations confidently. And finally, you should use digital tools to model and solve business problems. So this is what we are going to be seeing. These are the different topics we are going to cover. The one which is today, we'll start with workplace number fluency. And inside this topic, these are the things we are going to cover. Addition, subtraction in the workplace. In the two workplace number fluency tomorrow at 6 p.m. We'll do decimals, fractions, percentages, and things like that. Day 3, we'll look at ratios and proportions. Day 4, we'll focus on mental mathematics. Day 5, we'll do unit conversions. We'll do geometry, payroll and budgeting. We'll do interest and loans, business expenses, how to read workplace data. We'll do basic statistics. These are some of the things we are going to cover. And then we are going to do logical reasoning. We'll do mathematical logic, problem solving, decision puzzles, and things like that. And finally, we'll do spreadsheets. So we'll learn how to use Excel and Google Sheets for calculations and visualization. So we have 20 days to finish this course. 20 days is a very long time, so we are going to be combining some of these things so that we can finish them as soon as possible. Day 15, we are going to look at mathematical modeling. Day 16, we'll do probability and risk management. Day 17, we'll do mathematics based on workplace case simulation. So we're going to do some case studies that will help us imagine what happens in a real workplace. On day 18, people are going to have your boot camp. Day 19, you have company visit and reflection, and then day 20, review and assessment. So I'm sure that you people already have this program from the school. So today we are going to start with day 1, which is workplace number fluency. And we are going to do some very basic calculations. Yeah, really basic things. Things that people already know even. So I'll just share my slide and then we'll talk about them. Let me do a slideshow. Please, everybody should indicate if they can hear me. Can people hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what we are going to be doing today are the basic skills that you need for success in the workplace. Sometimes when you want to do an interview or when you are looking for a job, you will see on the job description, they will say that they want somebody who pays attention to details. Have you posted that before? Or during your time in this course, have they told you something like paying attention to details? It's a question, no? Can people hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I was asking a question. I said, have people heard about something called paying attention to details?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have.
Yes. Don't go and say on your CV that you pay attention to details if
Yes,
you
sir.
don't know workplace mathematics. If you don't know workplace mathematics, don't go somewhere when they are asking that, do you pay attention to details? You go and agree. If you go and agree, it means that you're lying. Because you cannot be paying attention to details when you cannot calculate well. It's not possible. So what we are going to looking at today is going to set the stage for the entire course. Basic arithmetic. So there are 4 essential skills that you need if you want to be a professional who pays attention to details. There are 4 essential skills. That's what we are looking at today. Addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. And we are going to see what this means in the workplace. I will not be doing a lot of examples today because I know that there's nobody here who does not know how to divide, add, subtract, and multiply. It's not possible. Most of you who are here like this, I taught you people business mathematics in level 1. So it's not possible that at this level, final year, you don't know. If you don't know, then we need to send you to the village. But what we are underscoring here is the fact that there are 4 essential skills that somebody who pays careful attention to details must have. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. That's why in my slides, I am calling it essential skills for daily workplace success. So if you want to succeed every day in the workplace, it's not global workplace success, it's daily workplace success. If you are going to succeed every day in the workplace, these are essential arithmetic skills that you must have. It's not mathematics, it is arithmetic. Arithmetic. Let me emphasize that very well. Why does this matter? It is because when you are able to do arithmetic very well, you become confident and efficient. You become confident and efficient. Few workplace challenges will be able to defeat you. Whether it involves calculating money, whether it involves analyzing timelines, whether it involves multiplying figures, whether it involves calculating the average number of employees that will be required to succeed at a task, you'll be able to do that with confidence. The second reason why arithmetic is important in the workplace is because it can be applied universally. So whether you want to work in Cameroon, or you want to work abroad, or you want to go to Equatorial Guinea or to Dubai, the same mathematical skills are required everywhere in the world. Addition is addition everywhere. Subtraction remains subtraction everywhere. You don't need any new skills to be able to master these things. So once you master them here, you'll be able to apply them everywhere else. Are we okay? So these are the 2 reasons why they matter. Somebody who is good in mathematics, first of all, is very confident. People can even feel my confidence as I'm explaining, because I am here to see somebody who is better at mathematics than me. The person might exist too, but I've not met that person yet. So when I go somewhere and it involves mathematics, I advise the other people to go elsewhere and try, because where I am like that, they will not succeed. And then the second reason, like I said, is that mathematics can be applied universally. Whether you are trying to prepare a budget, the rules of addition and subtraction remain the same. Whether you are trying to count the number of inventory that are in stock, the same rules apply. So every workplace in the world uses the same mathematical principles. They don't change because you are changing jobs or workplace. That's why they are extremely important. And that's why we decided to make it a part of this course. Now, let us talk about addition. Addition simply means we are combining items in the workplace. So anytime we are going to be combining 2 or more items, we are talking about addition. So another expression for addition is combining. Sometimes when somebody is explaining addition, they say it means to add. You cannot use add to explain what addition means. Combining is the best expression to use to explain what it means to add things. So a real work well example has been given on the slides. Today is which day? Tuesday, no, Wednesday. So on Monday, I make sales of $1,250. On Tuesday, I make sales of $980. On Wednesday, I make sales of $1,450. To add this means I'm going to combine all of them together. So if I combine 1,250 and I add it to 980 and to 1,450, I'll get a total value of 3,680. So adding numbers simply means we are doing what? Combining them to form one. That's what it means to add. So this class today is going to be very short because we are going to go through these different items of addition, subtraction, and division very quickly to know what they mean in the world of business. So in the world of business, to add means to combine. Another word that is used for addition is sum, to sum. So if you hear the word sum, it means they want you to add. So for those of us who are just coming from the village, who may not have been familiar with the word sum, summing something means adding, it means combining. So these three words, you're going to be meeting them a lot in business. Adding, combining, summing, totaling, all those words, totaling something means to add them together. So the result of combining, summing, adding is what we call addition in business. Please, is there anybody who has any question about what it means to add? I know that this is really basic, and you may be thinking that it is very irrelevant to come and discuss it here, but it is totally relevant to set the ground stage before we get into things that might appear like they are complicated. In the absence of questions, we are going to move to subtraction. And we are going to find out what subtraction means in business. Subtraction means to take something away. So if we take something away from the business, then we are subtracting. For example, if we sell items of stock, so if we have 1,500 items or laptops available in stock, and we sell 30, that 30 has to be taken away from the stock. So that 30 will be taken away from the stock and given to whoever is buying. So that action of taking away from stock and giving to someone else is called subtracting. You can see a good workplace example on my screen. An inventory starts with 200 units. If we sell 67 units, it means we have taken away 67 units from the inventory and we have given it to someone. And therefore, we have to subtract. So that leaves us with 133 units that will be remaining. So the difference between items is subtraction. And as well, taking items away from something that is already existing is called subtraction. So a decrease or a removal from an original amount is what we call subtraction. A gap that exists between two things is called subtraction. Anytime there's a difference in any business transaction, it means subtraction has taken place. So this is what subtraction actually means when we are conducting business, when we are working in the workplace. That's why you see on my slides, I have this cartoon of this person who is doing inventory. So goods have left the workplace and he's now subtracting to have the final value of products that are going to be remaining in stock. So he's going to perform subtraction. If he started with 200 units, he's going to now remove the 67 units that were sold to be left with the balance. If we sell goods worth 5 million and we spend 3 million, we have to remove or subtract 3 million from it to be left with 2 million francs. So in order for us to estimate our profit, we have to subtract. Oh, give me a few minutes before we go to the next point. Let me resume. Good. Okay, now we are done with subtraction. We want to do multiplication. And this is the best word I like to use to replace multiplication, especially when we are discussing business. Scaling. So multiplication and scaling means the same thing.
I don't even know at this point.
So to scale means to multiply. And I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can. Imagine that 1 unit of a product sells at 500 francs. And we want to sell 5 million francs a month. By wanting to sell 5 million francs a month, it means that we want to scale the sales of this product. Now, if one item sells at 500 francs, how do I scale this product so that I can sell 5 million? It means that I have to sell, I think, 1,000 copies, if I'm not mistaken, or 10,000 copies of this item to be able to sell 5 million, something like that. So I have to take the 500 francs and multiply by 10,000, and I'll get to 5 million. So that means I'm scaling the sales. So to scale something in business means to multiply by something. So anytime you hear somebody says that this business is not scalable, or they say that this operation is not scalable, it means that it's not possible to increase the quantity of sales by merely multiplying by an item. What is the meaning of multiplication? Multiplication means adding something to itself a certain number of times. So if I say 3 times 4, it means I have to take 4 and add to itself 3 times. Or if I say 4 times 3, it means I have to take 3 and add to itself 4 times. So multiplication is scaling because it's just another way of... Multiplication is basically just addition. So if I say 4 times 5, it means I take 5 and add to itself 4 times, something like that. Which means that when we are multiplying, we are merely just adding. So it's just an intelligent way of saying we are doing addition. So there are certain words that you hear in business, words like product, scaling, multiplication, they all mean the same thing. They all mean the same thing. This is a practical example on my slide. If 1 unit of a product costs $12.5 and we sell 8 items of that product, to get the total, we just need to take 12.5 and multiply by 8. What that simply means is that we take 12.5 and add to itself 8 times. And it will give us the final answer, which is $100 that you see on my screen. So this basically is what we mean when we talk about multiplying. Okay. That's what we mean when we talk about multiplying. We are trying to scale. And scale means we are adding something to itself a certain number of times. And when you add something to itself a certain number of times, it means you are also multiplying. Please, class, do we have any questions? People should ask questions, so don't take these things to mean that they are very simple. Until I'll give you now exercises now, you start saying that Dr. Tako did not discuss this one in class. Are you people following me? Do you have any questions? Is everything okay? Lembo, close your eye. You're looking like where you want to ask a question. And that nobody is talking. It should not be as if I'm talking alone.
No, sir. Yeah, I'm following up. No question for now.
Okay, everything is clear. That's good. That's good. Then I'm happy. I'm impressed. People are very intelligent. The way people understand things. Now let's talk about division. In business, division is used to share. It's used to split things amongst different individuals. So if we have resources in a business, it is division that helps us to allocate those resources fairly. It is division that can help us to calculate the unit cost. For example, if I'm producing beer, and then I spend, for example, 5,000 francs to produce 800 bottles of beer, but I want to know how much I spent to produce 1 bottle of beer, I'll simply take the 5,000 and divide by 800. When I take the 5,000 and divide by 800, I'll be able to understand how much I spent to produce 1 bottle of beer. That money I used to produce 1 bottle of beer is called the unit cost. Unit means 1. That's the meaning of unit. So anytime you hear unit cost in business, no, it means 1. the cost of one unit, the cost of one item. So another word which is usually used to express division is called quotient. So when you hear the word quotient, you hear the word division, you hear the word distribution, you hear the word sharing or splitting. All these words mean you are trying to divide. So there's a budget of 9,000 and I have to share it between 3 departments. It means I'll take 3 departments and divide by 9,000 and I'll have 3,000 for each department. Something like that. That's what it means to do division, splitting quantities. That's why you see this diagram on my screen. Using different colors, we have been able to split this circle into different parts. By splitting the circle like this, we have used division because we have divided the circle. Now let us go to the final one, which is mixed operation. So sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where multiplication, division, subtraction, all of them are combined into one. They are all involved in the situation we are facing. When that is the case, these are the steps that we are going to follow. The first step is that we have to identify the operations needed. So we have to break down the problem we are facing. We have to identify what needs to be added. We have to identify what needs to be subtracted. We have to identify what needs to be multiplied and what needs to be divided. Then the second thing that we have to do is to do BODMAS. Don't worry, I have here PEMDAS, but I will not use this one because this is not what people are familiar with. People are familiar with BODMAS, where B stands for bracket, O stands for off, D stands for division, M stands for multiplication, A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. That's the one that people know. So that's the one we are going to discuss. It applies universally everywhere. And the third step is that when you finish, double check your work to make sure that there are no errors in arithmetic, because when you make errors in arithmetic, it will lead to costly mistakes when we are making decisions in business. And then they will now start calling you somebody who does not pay attention to details. So you now understand why I said at the beginning that don't go somewhere. And when they are asking that who pays attention to detail, you go and put your hand up when you know that you don't know arithmetic. Please. If you know that you don't know BODMAS, let me even write BODMAS on my screen because I don't want matters that touch the heart. This is how BODMAS is written: B-O-D here. I don't want matters that touch the heart. M-A-S. This is BODMAS. It means the same thing as PEMDAS. It's just that PEMDAS is not what we are using in Cameroon, so I will not use that one. B stands for bracket. B is for bracket. Like that. As in bracket. Bracket essentially means multiplication. In mathematics, bracket means multiplying. O stands for off, which is also multiplying. For example, they can tell you to look for 20% of 300. 20% of 300. That of them means multiply 20% by 300. That's the meaning of off. So it means that when you have a problem, you have bracket, you have off, you treat them in this order. You handle the bracket first, then you handle the off later, then you can now handle division, then multiplication, then addition, then subtraction is always the last man to handle. You get the point now? That's how you follow this thing. D stands for division. Division. The division here is not Mehmet division or Fako division. Division means to divide. Please. Division. Like this. M stands for multiplication, A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. We have a small example here. They say you should calculate total project cost, including materials. Including materials, 2,500. Labor is 40 hours times 35 hours, $35 per hour. And they say 8% tax requires multiplication, addition, and percentage calculation performed in the correct sequence. So, for example, if we're going to do this thing, we will start by handling the matter which is in bracket. This one which is in bracket, we'll handle it first. We'll take 40 times 33 hours to calculate the total number of amount of labor. We'll start with labor. Because we want to calculate project cost. So first of all, start by knowing the item which is in bracket, which is labor cost. People should not mind my writing. I'm using my laptop mouse. I don't have an external mouse here, so I have to just manage. So this labor cost, somebody should do for us 40 times 35. What will be the answer? What is 40 times 35?
1,400.
1,400. That's good. So that's the first operation. The second operation is that we are saying that there is 8% tax. 8% tax, which means we have to take 8% of the materials. The material is 2,500. So tax is the second item because it has the of board mass. Tax is equals to 8% of. It's true that we are going to learn how to do fractions and percentages later, but let's just do it here now. 2,500. So if you have a calculator, press 8% and multiply it by 2,500. What's the answer?
200, sir.
200. That's good. So now if we want to calculate the total project cost, we'll take total project cost T, P, C is equal to. Now we have to add. So you see that we have first of all done bracket. We have done off. Then we are going now to addition. We are going to take now the total material, which is 2,500. We are now going to add the labor cost, which is 1,400. And we are also going to add the total tax, which is 200. And somebody now should punch it and give us the final answer. So what will be the answer of the total project cost?
4,100.
4,100. So that's how workplace mathematics is done. So these are the kind of practical things you'll be seeing in your workplace. Some of you probably are already working now and maybe seeing already the reality of what we are doing here. So that's how it's going to function. You have any questions? You ask the question now, or you forever remain silent. So these are some small tips for mastering workplace arithmetic. Let me delete all drawings. Good. These are some small tips. Where are those tips? The first thing is that make sure that you don't handle things that are very complex. Simplify them, break them into smaller steps. Identify what can be added, what can be multiplied, what can be subtracted. Determine the order in which you are supposed to handle them so that you minimize errors. Use number lines, charts, diagrams. We'll learn this in our next class, how to use number lines, charts, and diagrams so that you can make things that are abstract appear more feasible. And finally, when you finish every calculation, verify your work, double check your calculations to make sure there are no errors. Remember that workplace mathematics projects us as people who pay attention to details. Somebody who pay attention to detail will not finish a calculation and not go through their working to make sure that there were no errors. So I repeat again, if you are not that kind of person who will do something and double check, don't go somewhere and say that you pay attention to details. So this is a practice scenario that I'm going to leave with you people. You begin the day with 150 units of product in your warehouse. Throughout the day, you sell 45 units to customers. A delivery arrives with 30 additional units to restock the inventory. What is the total number of inventory that is left in the warehouse? What is the total number of inventory left in the warehouse after the delivery? People should snap your screen. You go and do it. Mathematics is not something that will come to you by chance. Everybody who is a good mathematician today started off as a novice. They started as a beginner. So practice every day. Use the calculator, but make sure that you understand what you're doing. And remember, if you know how to do your calculations very well, if you know how to manage your numbers very well, you'll be able to make the strongest and the best decision. You'll be able to give the best advice to management. So make sure that you take your applied mathematics seriously. You take your applied mathematics seriously. So if you have any questions about applied mathematics, this is your chance to ask your questions or forever remain silent. Are there any questions, please? Hello? Are there any questions?
So for me, I think I will have my questions next class because I still have to go through the slides again.
Okay, you will go through the slides again. That's good. How will you do to get the slides in?
Yeah, I took a screenshot of every slide.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So in the absence of questions, we are going to end our first class here for today. It's a very short class, but our class for tomorrow will not be this short. And our class for tomorrow will not start at 6 o'clock. It will start at 8 p.m., please. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Yes. So inform your classmates that tomorrow's class will start at 8 p.m. so that I would have gotten home, rested, and then I can take the course.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good. So for tomorrow's class, we are going to combine day 2 and 3 and do it together. Thank you guys for your time. Have a peaceful evening.
Thank you, sir. Same to you.
Thank you, sir.